What a week. What a week. So it's obvious to talk about what has made this week so exhausted. And I've shared about that in the last 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many videos. Maybe not that many. But here's what I'm going to say. What I did is I expressed how I felt with these videos. I expressed how I felt in meetings. I prayed about it a lot. I fasted for 2 days this week, not consecutive. That was not for this. That was because that was the plan the week before. And so it's fitting that it happened, because there's something to be said about being super hungry and not being able to stress over too much about what's going on when I want to eat a freaking cheeseburger or a pizza or something. So I know I have another avenue I can use to deal with stress now. It also helped me connect a little closer to my higher power, to God. And I wrote about it, and I spent a lot of time in the gym with it. And here's what I'll say. All of that stuff has helped me tremendously. So I know that in the future, when stuff happens, because it will, those are the things that I'll lean on doing. In about a week, I'm going on a hike. That's going to be a 3-trail hike. It's going to last all day. It's going to be strenuous, and I'm going to be one with nature. I know that will also help. It will give me a change of venue of where I'm at and put me in a whole different environment with no cell phone service. A really good friend of mine, 2 really good friends of mine, and my father have suggested I get off my phone. I realized today how much of an addiction my phone is for me, and how I can say I'm not going to do it and go down rabbit holes that are created by AI. For real. A lot of them are. That man does not have a Middle Eastern voice. So I know a lot of what I'm watching is AI. And if you watch it long enough, it'll just be all of your feed. Another friend of mine sent me what he's been watching, and I think he has really good advice, so I'm going to take that. And it's just, maybe I need to distract myself. I'm doing a good enough job sharing about it, but I don't want to keep sharing about this anymore. I don't want to keep talking about it either. I sound like a nut job. It's unhealthy. I know that. It's unhealthy. The stuff that's coming out of my mouth. So, I'm calling myself out. So hopefully, by doing that, I get back to the grind and get back to work. I do know this. I feel a lot better than I did a few days ago. And I also know this too. That nothing is in my control, really. The only thing that's in control is what comes out of my mouth and what I put into my brain. Yeah, that's it. My thoughts, my beliefs, and then my actions. Whatever comes out of my mouth is my action. So, that's that on that. And life is good. I've been acting lately like it's not. Really good. Life is really good right now for me. All these good things are happening. All these great things have happened. And I'm continuously going through changes. love it. I hated not being able to go through changes. I was the same old shit over and over and over and over again. So as I continue to do the right thing for myself, take care of myself, take care of my kids, you know, tomorrow's a big day. I've got somebody coming over to help me empty out the garage. That's huge, man. I mean, there was a time last year, not even drugs, that if I could have just had that, that'd be a huge win. That's happening. It's really happening. So, as a great person once told me, we got to celebrate our wins. And I do need to continue celebrating my wins. Tomorrow's a big day because it will, well, one, it's a really good friend of mine's birthday, so I'll be able to reach out, and that person means a lot to me. And on top of that, it's my old clean day. I get to celebrate that old clean day, not in the way that like we celebrate our current clean date or our birthdays. It's just it's good to remember that there was. I had a friend of mine, I was talking to a friend of mine, and what she said, because she had a large amount of time, and she downplayed it, and I thought, you know, from the outside in, you know, it's easy for me to downplay everything, but for me, from the outside in, looking at that situation and that person, you know, 10 years is a very long time, and that's 2 years for me was the longest ever that I'd ever stayed clean and sober from everything. And before that, never. Not since I was 15. So there's a piece of my heart that goes with September 14th. That's a day for me to remember. I'll never forget that day because that was, you know, multiple years recovery. And I'm on the road to it. I'm definitely on the road to it. And what's cool is that I get to be on the road to it, through it, with over a year clean now. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Because the last year, I had some time, but it was only, you know, 2 weeks and a day. And that story, if you go back to my videos and look, if you go back to my videos, I have that specific date in there. I talk about it. I was in treatment when it happened, but I remember yelling I couldn't get, you know, 2 weeks, you know, to myself in the mirror, and then on 9/14/2024, I had 2 weeks and a day, and that was the day that I was doing yoga in treatment, and the yoga instructor said, now reach up and grab the ropes from your higher power. And for years, I can say that plural, I had said that God's not sending down any ropes. Nobody's coming to help you. Nobody's coming to save you. The Calvary's not coming. And then 2 weeks in a day, 9/14/2024, where I used to say, you can't even fucking get 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks in a day because of my surrender. And so, that date holds dear to me, and it always will. That I can say with conviction. I'm exhausted, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, but in a good way. In a good way. I'm not depressed or anxious, which is awesome. I was very depressed, not so anxious, but very depressed, and very sad and all of that stuff over the last couple of days. And, you know, doing what I've done these last couple of days, not just one thing, but many, have really, really helped me. And now I'm at a state of where I'm just tired, which is good. It's good. I'm not in a state of fear. I'm not in a state of anxiety. I'm not in a state of depression. I'm not in a state of any of that. I'm tired, exhausted because of all the work it takes to go through this mentally, all the work it takes to go through that physically. It's the grind to get through my challenges healthy. It's a grind. And the only reason it's such a grind is because I haven't ever done it like this ever before. But it's a good grind. You know how, like, if you go to the gym, I use this reference a lot because that's part of my life, but if you go to the gym and you bust your ass and then the next day you're sore, if you've been doing it all week, there's that level of sore. Well, that goes the same with mental working out. Mentally working out, working through, not picking up any alcohol, not picking up a pipe or drugs or anything so I could just check out. I have to do this where I feel my feelings and I talk about them and I fight through them and I don't blame or do anything negative in a sense, you know, and I found myself still doing that. When I say don't blame, I did that, you know, but I was able to catch myself because those are my character defects that I'm dealing with now, and hopefully one day I'll have different character defects and these ones won't be the same. But for now, these are ones that I'm aware of that I have to put at bay. And I am truly grateful that I can have the self-awareness to be able to do this. And I have the tools that I need to help me get through things. Some of this stuff is no longer going through, it's getting through. And the getting through is the actual work. The going through is work, but it's actually, you're just going through it, so you're going through the motions. And sure, it feels tough, but it's a lot tougher with the action of getting through something. And I like to get through things over going through them. But I do know that it requires me to go through them for however long it's going to take. And having acceptance that I'm like, man, that took way too long. No, that took as long as it was supposed to take. That took exactly that, you know, that happened as long as it was going to happen. You know, my story of recovery, if I had only gotten loaded for 1 month and shit kind of got fucked up and then I got clean and then I worked through it, it's not as powerful of a story for me as my whole fucking life. Sure, do I wish I could just have stopped it when I was in my 20s? Well, I wasn't like this in my 20s, you know, but all these small things led up to, and I'm grateful for it all. I don't wish I could go back. Do I wish I was younger? Sure. I wish I was 10 years younger, but I'm not, you know, and so I'm grateful that I am where I'm at, and I am who I am today. I'm a little more tired than ever. That's okay. I'm older too, and hopefully that age will have some wisdom attached to it due to the decisions I'm making today. And so a recap on this week to close out this week. It was rough. It's rough for a lot of people in all sides of the spectrum, not just my side. But now it's time to get back to my world, my little bubble, which is not that it's safe, but it's where I need to be. I just need to stay in my hula hoop. I do that enough, and I won't be so mad about the world like I have been. And now I got to, you know, all week I got to reflect and I got to express, and I got to feel and cry and be angry, and I got to be all of these things that we get to be when we're human. And I didn't do any drugs, I didn't do any alcohol, and I didn't fucking make any shitty mistakes. And sure, I made some, but they weren't mistakes that I feel like I need to go back and now I gotta fucking do this and now I gotta do that. They were mild mistakes that weren't even that bad. Not to compare them to like getting loaded in my room. They just weren't as bad of mistakes. I might have, you know, said something here or there. I might have even posted something on Facebook that wasn't extreme, but, you know, looking back, I probably could have just not been on my phone. So all in all, you know, like, I would say this. considering how I felt and how everything was going for me mentally and emotionally, I'd like to say it was a win. And I can get back to work. There were times when I was like, you know what, let's change the algorithm, and I did it. And then there were times my algorithm fucked up again. But all in all, I keep going, nope, and then go back and then change it, and then nope. So at least it's not like, fuck, man, all week long. No. That's a huge win. That's a huge win. So I'll cap it as that. I'm out.